Hello, hello, hello. It is still on starting soon, and I'm very, very aware of that. But before I do start here, there's another thing I need to fix, which hopefully doesn't end this stream, but it definitely shouldn't. There we go. It just said round 2 on that other one. But hello, we are tonight around 2 tracks of FQ Racing League, and 2 tracks that are both on the old game F123. Taking a bit of a blast from the past today, as we are now about to get into it, as long as I can get the game on screen, which I should be able to get now. And if I click the right button, it might... Yep, is that the right button? That was incredibly not the right button. That was the right button. Alright. Here we are. In the lobby for Interlagos, Brazil. An iconic track for sure, and for a lot of people. One of the most iconic tracks in all of Formula 1. The track where Sebastian Vettel won the 2012 Drivers' Championship from being spun on the opening lap. There won't be anything like that here today, because the championship is not decided yet. The top 3, Mew, Jerome and Joe, all separated by 20 points. So Mew and Jerome definitely have a big chance here to catch up to the championship leader here in these 2 races tonight. One in Brazil and the other one in Zandvoort, like we had in real life today. And I won't be spoiling that, I hope, too much. But if you haven't watched it, I can't promise you anything. I can't promise I will not spoil it for you, because might be something we see today that is referencing real life. Not that I watched it either way. I didn't actually watch a lot of the race, but I know what happened, kinda, sorta, possibly. So let me see here. Let me just test the latency of the stream real quick. But yeah, no, 2 races today in F123. They really said that, oh, you can't almost talk for 1 race, let's make you talk for 2. As we are readying up here for Interlagos. It'll be a marathon for the drivers today, 2 35% races obviously. And a marathon for me, talking through those 2 to the 35% races, as we catch up on the 2 races we missed earlier on. Lose my voice? Yes. Very much on the cards, that one. As we get going for qualifying, then 14 drivers, 13 for the second race, depending on whether Mew's wheel cools itself down or not. My shades are open. I'm closing my shades for those interested and listening. Alright, I'm back. And yeah. Brazil then. I believe it would be it is 25 laps around this track, as we get ready to go here in qualifying. No rain, at least at the start of qualifying, so everyone will get a dry time in. As we see first people leaving the pits now. And that is an Aston Martin, and I'm going to bet all of my life savings on it being Big Boris. He's always out first on the track whenever he is racing. So, Big Boris for Aston Martin then. All dry weekend, I am being told by the weather forecast guys, which means the races down there that want to give me the inner workings of the weather, because I can't see it while spectating, which is incredibly stupid. Codemasters, fix that. Spectators should have info on almost everything that goes on in the race, so we could have race engineers and whatnot, but it is what it is. Let me just pull up the standings for myself here. Big Boris yet to score a point in this season, and driving for Aston Martin now, they have 6 points all season, as Spazman has scored those 6 points for them. Joe on 95 points at the top of the standings. Jerome then on 78 and Mew on 75. There's a McLaren there in the middle sector having a little bit of a problem. I believe that's Dablo having a little bit of a spin, but we will be looking at this first lap alongside Big Boris into turn 1 then. He heads and turns the car in nicely. Through turn 2, looks nice for the Aston Martin. Now you get the foot down all the way to the Interlagos. Turn 4, sector 1 split right here, 17.1. Not a bad split at all for Boris as he heads now into the Interlagos. Looks nice indeed as he heads up the hill then to this twisty and tidy middle sector. The first turn, you need to be on the limit of the car and then turn it in, trust the turning, get the foot down. Long left-hander, need to be very, very patient with that one, and then onto this off-camber right-hander. It's very, very difficult to get right, but he will get the power down nicely, and it's looking like an alright lap for the Aston Martin driver. As he heads to sector 2 now, 53.215 for Big Boris. Now on to the final straight. It's all flat out from here, and this could be the deciding straight for a lot of overtakes today, as people may have gone for a higher downforce setup or lower downforce setup. 110.9 kicks us off then in this qualifying session. Next to cross the line, I believe, is Jerome Hudson, and he does go fastest with a 108.6. What can you do? The two championship rivals here today. The Williams of Mew against the Red Bull of Jerome Hudson, like they were in Abu Dhabi, except this time there's no Joe to bother them, and Sammy has returned to the grid as well. He's nothing to count out as he goes second fastest with 108.9. Mew then through the final corner. Now the foot is down, and it's looking like a decent lap for the Williams so far, but wants to get onto the front row at the very least. Jerome Hudson holding provisional pole position right now by 0.3 of a second. Does Mew have anything to say about that? He can't pip the Red Bull, but goes second fastest with 108.8. Dablo fourth fastest with 109.1. Cornish Mantis retiring from the session. He does have a qualifying ban for this week, so he's serving that at Interlagos here today, as Stevie Magden through sector 2, being back after a little bit of an absence once again from the Scotsman. I believe he's Scottish. I actually don't know for sure, so if I've offended him, I'm sorry. I know you watched the streams back. If you're Scottish, you know, I knew it. If you're not, I do apologize. As Stevie then through the final corner, getting a nice toe from the Alpha Tauri ahead of him. As now up to the line he goes, 109.4, 7th fastest at the moment. Nick Fuhrman invalidated his lap. Ooh, Rafa on the intermediate tires going out on his first run, not gonna get that one done, and I believe that's everyone's first laps completed. I don't know if Nick is going for a second consecutive run. I don't know what he's doing here actually, because I don't know what Nick is doing here. I'll be honest. I have no clue. But Get Valkyried might have just gone on a lap, and it very much looks like he has. So 1.1 laps of fuel then in the Alfa Romeo, and he's going to be looking to extract all of it to get further up the grid. Only needs a few 100s to get into the top 5, but needs a few 10s to get into the top 3. As heading into sector 2 is Valkyrie, 17.1 first sector, not a bad first sector at all, about 5 milliseconds up on his time previously. Through that long left-hander. Is that a number 3 on his car? How does he have a 3 on his car? Oh, because Ricardo's not in this game, right. The number 3, you get Valkyrie, yeah. Alright, that makes sense. As through the final sector now, there's an Alpha Tauri spinning on the track, 3/10 up for Get Valkyrie. As he now heads through the final corner and now puts his foot down, and now DRS enabled for the Alfa Romeo, wide open right there, and now foot to the floor. What can the Alfa Romeo driver do? Up to the line he goes second fastest with 108.7. Great lap from the Alfa Romeo, and now Now let's see what Nick is up to, because he's got 1.6 laps of fuel. He could go now. Oh, Sammy goes faster than 108.3, so everyone going for second laps quite early, as Simi is just about to start his first lap. He usually does 1 or 2 laps in qualifying. Although I feel he would do better in qualifying if he would do more laps, but you do you, Simi. As Nick is starting a lap, but we're gonna follow along Simi instead, because he's more interesting. As now through Sector 1 goes the Ferrari Scarlet Red around Interlagos. Ferrari haven't had the best of times here. Historically, 17-0 for the first sector for Simi. That's a very, very good first sector for Simi, and could entail something very nice for the Ferrari driver. As then to sector 2, there's a McLaren off the rack there. That's Dablo, just getting out the way of the Ferrari very nicely indeed. As then to sector 2, a long left-hander. He's navigating this very, very nicely indeed. The number 82 on that Ferrari. Top 5 in qualifying last week. He's looking to top that here in Interlagos this week. And he is truly proving to be a very, very competent driver when he feels like it. 52.3 in the middle sector. For Simi, could be a decent lap time here as he now puts his foot to the floor and up to the line. What can the Ferrari do? Where can he put that Ferrari on the grid as he heads across the line? Now 109.4 goes 8th fastest. What can Nick Fuhrman do? Right behind him goes 9th fastest. 109.4 as well. So the two owners of F1 or FQ League alongside myself, very, very close in the match. As Dablo onto the grass in turn 1, that's not going to help your time as or even a snap and an invalidation there in turn 1. Not at all how the McLaren would have drawn that up all day. 17.3 in the first sector as he heads into the middle sector. 10.9 his time at the moment. Needs about 0.5 of a second to get past Big Boris on those timing screens. As Jerome Hudson also starting a lap then. His time was beaten by Sammy with a 108.3 and now needs a little bit more time if he wants to improve. It looks like most are doing the 3 laps here, so probably have saved a set of softs. 16.9 first sector for the American. That is a purple first sector, and he's about half a tenth up on his time previously. Through sector 2 then. Throwing the car in very, very nice indeed. And into the slow corners then. Right, left, and then right again as he manages this left-hander. Gets on the throw up the hill, then onto the right-hander. This is a very nice lap for the Red Bull so far. It's looking very good. Now, foot to the floor then. All the way up until sector 2. What's the middle split time going to be? It's 51.7, 67 hundredths up on his previous time. That's not going to be enough for a provisional pole, but if he does have some time in this final sector, it needs to be a mighty final sector to take that pole position back, especially now when Mew's gone faster to 108.1. What can Jerome do instead? Not much. 108.6 still. Improves, but not by enough. Spazzaman struggling on his lap, but Mew is on provisional pole and Sammy right alongside him, both members of the Optimal Racing team, so maybe there will be some team play during the race. As Spazzaman all the way through the final sector has abandoned that lap, was the 10th down in the middle sector. Stevie then 17.3 for the first sector. That's not what you want to see if you are Stevie right now. That's not the times that he's going to be looking for. Get Valkyrie then. Right now in P4, but needs to find a few more tenths to get into 3rd position and up there on the 2nd row. Could even be a dark horse for a pole position here today. As 1/10 up in the first sector, 16.9 for the Alfa Romeo. So very, very possible he goes and takes a provisional pole position right now. And through sector 2 he goes. Very, very well handled for the Alfa Romeo. Looks very nice. Missing the apex there a little bit. You want to take a little bit more of that curb right there, because that doesn't hurt you into this right-hander then. Hitting the apex then nicely indeed, and it's get Valkyrie! It's happened again! It's happened again! I am so sorry, it's happened again. There's no way this keeps happening. There's no way this keeps happening. And Rafa then on the mediums. Oh no, there's no way that keeps happening every time. Rafa on the mediums, 143.3. I have reason to doubt that that's a competitive lap time from Rafa, as Stevie's invalidated his lap. And Sammy is on a lap purple in the first sector according to the minimap, but it's telling me everyone's purple. So Sammy looking to get pole position back away from Mew. And Sammy, very, very fast driver. We know Simcade Season 10 a World Drivers Champion in a Mercedes and absolutely dominating that season over in Simcade. So hasn't had the best of starts to the season here in FQ. Struggling a lot as we are in the transferring period to the new game. But he is looking to bounce back now here in Brazil as Jerome purple in Sector 1 as I'm being told. But we are going to follow Sammy along for this lap as he comes across the line now. What can he do? 108.0. And that is a very good lap indeed. Jerome invalidates his purple first sector. But Sammy not into the 107s quite yet. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, ultimate track record here in, or ultimate qualifying lap record here in Brazil in FQ is 107.8 by myself in Season 1. I remember that lap because it was bloody magic back then. But times are tumbling indeed, and 107 is the expected pole time position, maybe even mid 107s now that the game has been out for a while. As Simi now in P8, 3/10 up on his current time. That would put him in a P7, but needs a few more hundreds onto that, and he's going to be in P5. Here comes Simi, the British Ferrari driver, number 82 on his car. What can the Ferrari do? Comes across the line now, 7th fastest, 109.000. And that, my friends, is incredibly close. And is incredibly close to Dablo, and that is 1 millisecond difference. As Boris goes into the pit lane now, making a change of tires, I believe. 4 minutes left in the session. I don't believe anyone is on a fast lap anymore. Nick Fuhrman is, and just as I've got on board, he's going off at the Interlagos. But could he still salvage something off of this lap? No. As it turns out, he can't. Alright. Cool. All-Day might be on a lap, and he's 3/10 up. What can he do? 109.6, get closer, but not quite by enough. As Swampmouth in P5 with a 108.9 is a very good effort from him. I believe Swampmouth. Has he scored points this season yet? That's not the one I'm supposed to be clicking on. It's this one. No, so Swampmouth yet to score a point in this season, and right now qualifying in P5 as it stands. I mean, very, very impressive from the Red Bull, right up there with his teammate who's in P3 at the moment. And track is only getting better. So Stevie is 1 millisecond up on his lap so far into the Interlagos. Needs a lot more. Does the Alpine in Season 2 were consistently on the front row in Division 2, but now there's an Alpine on pole position, and Stevie lacking a little bit behind right now in P9, I should say. Needs a little bit more time, needs 4/10 to make his way up all the way. It could be into P5 if he gets 5/10 of a second improvement. Mew apparently hitting the wall coming out of the pit lane, so that is devastating for the pole there, and maybe not enough time to get back into the pits then and redo a lap. As Stevie then all the way up the line, DRS wide open as he comes across the line. Where can he go? Improves, but not quite by enough. And let's see what is the situation with Mew and his Williams. Is he going to go for the slap, or is he going to abort it and go for the next one? He's going to abort the lap, so now it becomes a race against time for Mew, as Get Well Carried messaged me. Oh man, I'm so fucking sorry. I don't know how it keeps happening. I have no idea how that keeps happening, but Sammy on an outlet, Jerome on an outlet, Mew out of the qualifying session, so that hit with a pit wall could drop him all the way down into third place on the grid. Right now into second, but we're gonna see as the Frenchman Sammy starts his lap. Starts his final lap as Boris retires from the session. Just gonna see. As Sammy then starts his final lap of the weekend, very, very close to the to invalidating there into that first sector, as a 10th down in sector 1, not looking great for him. As Jerome just starting his final lap of the final lap of qualifying. We're going to be following along these two, as they are the ones in that pole position fight. Into the left-hander, that car gets out of the way nicely there. As then into sector 2, throwing the car around that Alpine, just sticking for the Frenchman. Simi out of the qualifying as well. Everyone else almost staying in the pit lane now. 26 seconds left of qualifying. That's a little bit wide for Sammy. Could he extend his advantage at the top? And he might need to, as Jerome is on a lap as well, and Jerome needs a 5/10 improvement. But what can Sammy do? Sammy can't improve. So now it's up to the American. We've seen him do this already in Abu Dhabi. He pulled off a miraculous final lap to take pole position away from Mew. It was back then. But now could he do the same to Sammy, as the American goes out of sector 2. 88 100ths of advantage for Jerome. But needs a lot more. Get back up there. Spazman also on a lap, and not to be discounted out of this top 3 fight, because he's very close at the moment. Jerome crossed the line, 108.4, and Spazman then through sector 2, and he could be the last person to possibly challenge anything at the moment. And is he? He's on a lap, I believe. No, he's not on a lap, because it's 109. And I believe that is qualifying over, because Nick has invalidated. Rafa actually could be the dark horse here. The AlphaTauri, we've seen it have some pace around different tracks before on this season, so maybe he can surprise and go into the top 5 as he comes across the line. What can he do? It's going to be a 109.2 and goes 9th fastest, so into the top 10 for the AlphaTauri, and that is it for qualifying. It's going to be Sami Jote, the Frenchman, back in FQ, back on pole position. And Mew starts from the front row. Jerome 3rd, Spazman 4th. Get Valkyrie starts 5th. Swampmouth, great qualifying from him, starts 6th. Dablo starts 7th. And behind him then Simi, Rafa, and Stevie complete the top 10. Then it's Nick Fuhrman in 11th. All day in 12th. Big Boris in 13th. And Cornish Mantis. Qualifying ban for this race starts in P14. As yeah, we get the results. 32 100ths. 32 100ths at the top, as the top 4 covered by 5/10 of a second, and the top 10 covered by 1.2 seconds. So skill gaps are there, so gaps will be built up in the race. And it'll be interesting to see who can get it right and who will get it wrong, as we now head into the race of 25 laps around Interlagos. Welcome back. Hello. Took a bit of break. A break of about half a minute because I had to go drink some water. Because my throat is already dying and I need to do another race today. So, we are looking for a dry race today, and it is in Interlagos, so anything could happen. As we get closer and closer to lights out. Here in Brazil. Do I have a... I probably don't have my hotkey for the F1 intro, because I have the F1 intro on my thing and I could play every time. But I think that would be copyright striked 74 times. As we wait for Simi to ready up, and then we can get underway in the race. Oh, that's not the button to mute my mic. That is alright. I will be back as soon as we get ready for the formation lap. Here we go, as we get ready for the formation lap, as we get underway on the formation lap, already here for 25 laps. Oh my god, Jesus. Hold on. Fuck you. I had my own voice in the background. I had my headphones connected to my phone, and I have my phone watching the stream on full audio. But as we then look through the tires, there's a few mostly mediums, a few hards, and one soft tire runner, so the Williams of Mew. Going on those softs, and I believe a medium soft is the fastest strategy around Interlagos, so I really don't understand the logic of going onto the hards early, or especially to start with. They are not the same hard compound tires we have in F1 24. They are not going to be that OP as we head to sector 2 then on the formation lap, and we get quite possibly the worst camera angle of all time. Like, what is this? I have broadcast camera mode on, and but yeah, there are all the possible race strategies. As oh no, that is gonna be unfun. Stevie Mack and Nick Fearman making contact on the formation lap and getting both of them disqualified, as the race strategy is powered by AWS. Suggest a hard soft or a medium soft here around Interlagos. I believe the soft spit window is around lap 12, and lap or the medium, sorry, is around lap 15, lap 16, and the wait, no, medium pit window is around lap 12, 13. Soft pit window should be then under 10 laps, so around lap 9, lap 10, that you want to be going into the pit lane if you have those soft tires on. So basically, if you're Mew, we get everyone lined up on the grid. Very, very nicely indeed. Everyone looks to be lining up well, except for Stevie and Nick, who've already been disqualified, so they don't get to line up on the grid. But no one else has been disqualified, as we then head to 5 red lights here in Interlagos. I don't know if they're up or not because I can't hear them, but it's lights out, and it's go, 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 as it's Sammy gets away well from pole position. It's Mew wanting to lead into turn 1, doesn't, as the Swampmouth making a move on Get Valkyried for P4 in this race. Oh, it's a bit tight there, and it's Swampmouth around, and Get Valkyried not going off well there either. Nick Fuhrman already up into P7, Simi dropping places then down into P11, as it's pack racing down into the Interlagos. We're gonna go on board with Stevie here to look at all the action ahead, as there's a McLaren going very, very slow there. That's a Cornish Mantis. I believe he does have wing damage there, so Cornish Mantis with a little bit of front wing damage, as the Get Valkyrie then down into P9, Swampmouth down into the back of the grid, as Mew does take the lead. At some point we have missed it, so probably down into the Interlagos. Then Mew does take the lead of the Grand Prix, and Sammy might be under pressure now from Jerome, but the top 3 pulling away just as we expected, as Spazzaman in P3 dropping back on those hard compounded tires. But here comes Jerome then on Sammy, an absolutely crucial overtake for the championship, this one, as he needs to get into the DRS of Mew, because that is his closest championship rival at the moment, with Joe not racing. A little bit grass on the entry there into turn 1, but not gonna make the move right now. No DRS on lap 2 because it isn't F124, but DRS on lap 3 instead, and Jerome not wanting to make the move before he has DRS. Spazzaman then, as we could probably get those tires off the screen, and we're just gonna look at who's got the best start. So biggest winners, Rafa, Nick Fuhrman and Big Boris. Biggest losers include Simi and the Swampmouth off the start of the race. Cornish Mantis in the pit lane to change his front wing, and possibly onto the hard component tires to go until the end of this race. But I do not know that because I have not checked, but that looks like a medium compound tires there for the McLaren, so he's got a lot to fight back. And Sammy nearly out of DRS, and Mew needs to pull out that DRS, that second gap before turn 1, but Sammy might just deploy all the way down the straight because he knows that DRS is very, very important around here. But he's not deploying, and he is losing time. Now he's deploying because he's realizing Mew is deploying, and he's getting him out of DRS. And Mew sets the fast lap the Grand Prix, and here goes Jerome, maybe around the outside of Sammy, not quite. Again, takes a bit of the grass on entry, and DRS is enabled now. Sammy not within DRS, and this is huge for Mew, as he can just control the race now from P1 without having any DRS worries to worry about, as the American Jerome Hudson gets up into P2 now, past the Alpine Red Bull. Passing an Alpine is not something we haven't seen before. And Dablo going around the outside of the Interlagos, as there's contact in the back, and it gets Valkyried, and Rafa I think have made contact there, and everyone else can get through now on those guys, as Dablo now very, very close to Spazzaman, and Jerome Hudson struggling to keep within that second of Mew up ahead, and that's a very, very crucial second line right now. Needs to be deploying a lot of ERS up this hill to get within that second, and he hasn't done it. He needs a great exit out of the final corner. Has he got DRS? No, it doesn't look like it. So it's very, very likely now that the Alpine behind him that has DRS is going to get back past Sammy. Round the outside he goes. Shouldn't be too hard of a move, but all this is allowing them to get back into the DRS of Mew, who's already used all of his battery to get out that second gap. But Sammy's made a big error at the exit of the center S's, and now down this next straight it's just going to be Jerome taking back the position very, very easily indeed, as a Spazzaman round into the wall, and that's a big hit without a front wing. Now is the Aston Martin of Spazzaman, and there is a virtual safety car. A virtual safety car to allow everyone to cool off a little bit, and Jerome and Sammy now 2.3 behind Mew, but they are going to catch the back up. That is just the delta being weird. And if you do play your VSC cards right, you could be very, very close. You could catch up a lot to the back of the field. I believe it's ending because it flashed on the screen. I believe that's what it means for the spectators, because we do not get the VSC ending. VSC ending soon message. Hopefully no one gets a drive-through under the VSC, as Nick Fuhrman running in P5 for the Mercedes team that they do need. They do need points to keep within that constructors fight with Williams and with McLaren and with Red Bull, as virtual safety car is still out there. Delta still on for most drivers, and this is allowing Mew to regain his ERS back that he'd used to get away from the two behind him. And here we go, green, 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 racing once again, and it's come at a time where Sammy can go for the overtake immediately, as Spazman gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not ideal. Simi gets past all day in the background, but we are focused on this fight for second place. 1.6 seconds to Mew is the gap, and he's got about 20% ERS, while Jerome has got 50, so Jerome needs to use that a lot. Nick Fuhrman closing in on Dablo. Very, very impressive so far for the Mercedes today, as we have this little train forming for P8, where Simi, All Day and Rafa all looking to get past each other and into higher points paying positions. Get Valkyrie just about getting back onto that train, as now Sammy once again down the main straight will have the opportunity to get past Jerome, and he's using his overtake just a little bit to keep on a overtaking distance, as he now is forced to go around the outside. Maybe Jerome makes the move on the outside, and that's a little naughty there from Jerome. That might have been two moves on the straight, as first moves to the inside and then moves back to the outside. But now down this straight into the Interlagos, Sammy will have a free overtake on his hands with DRS into turn 4, and that's easy done, easy go for the Alpine, as Nick Fuhrman closing in on Dablo, as we just said before. And Simi is still leading this train of All Day, Rafa and Get Valkyrie, as Rafa gets past the Williams of All Day, then into turn 4 to see the Lago, and All Day might be looking to get back at him though, because that was not the clean that was not the cleanest of moves, in the fact that he didn't get a good exit. It was all clean with the races, but that was not the exit that Rafa would have wanted. Oh, Get Valkyrie down the inside, great move, aggressive move from him. No contact made even, and All Day down into P11 then. A great aggressive move there for Get Valkyrie. That's now here goes the position switch once again between these two. Jerome Hudson back in front. That's Nick Fuhrman also looking for the move on Dablo. It's McLaren versus Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship, and these two are fighting it out, as Sammy now might be looking to get back at Jerome Hudson once more. Down the inside into the Interlagos. They go side by side. It's very, very nice indeed, and they do make it, but Jerome might be looking for a move back, because he's got a better run out of this Interlagos, round the outside of this fast right-hander. Not gonna happen, as Nick Fuhrman does make the move on Dablo, but they're also going side by side into this right-hander. Ooh. Nick Fuhrman just about stays in front of the McLaren, and now has made the move for P4. Very, very impressive for him, as I said earlier. And Jerome now back behind Sammy. So Jerome looking for the move on the Frenchman. Once more, they're 2 seconds behind Mew. Not quite the gap that Mew would have been wanting to build, because those softs, they are now the worse racing tire than the mediums. The mediums are now settling in, but these two squabbling each other will definitely help Mew build more of a gap, as Jerome does make the move. But now into turn 4, Sammy will try to make the move back, and I'm sure he'll try everything he can to make the move back, as he comes now down the straight and goes down the inside into turn 4 and does make the move. And all of this is hurting their chances of catching Mew, because they are going side by side into these corners. That is going to be losing them time. Dablo back past Nick Fuhrman. Very, very poor on the exit is the McLaren though, and Mercedes looking back a little bit to make a possible move, as Simi on the back of this train for P8 still as Sammy gets past Jerome. As the two going side by side in sector 2. Wow. I have missed that, and that is a shame that I have, but Jerome then into the main straight will probably get overtaken once again. Into turn 1 as Sammy looking for the move down the inside on the American, forced to go around the outside. Doesn't make the move because he wants to make it into turn 4. 2.1 seconds now to Mew up front as Nick then once again making the move on the McLaren into turn 1. Little bit elbows out, forcing Dablo to go onto the grass, but gets a little bit of a wobble out of the center S's, and that might invite Dablo to go right back at him. But not quite close enough, I think, is the McLaren on this occasion as Jerome and Rafa's gone around again, I think, believe in the back. There's been a collision between him and Boris, I believe, which did not realize they were close together on track. As I've been following these two fights for P3 and for P2 and for P4, as there's the lapped car of Swaziman in the middle of all of them. Sammy looking for the way past on Jerome Hudson. 1.5 seconds now. The 1.4, the gap is coming down all the time as Sammy gets a big snap out of the final corner, and that's gonna be a very, very detrimental mistake if he can't get DRS back now. As Specimen's trying to unlap himself. I don't know if that's how it works in the game, but Specimen has unlapped himself now, and on those new medium tires, I believe, is entitled to do so by real life rules. But I don't know what the game will say about that one. As Nick Fuhrman ahead of Dablo once more. The McLaren looking for the move into turn 4. Sammy has stayed within DRS of Jerome Hudson though, so that is all good, as Dablo running as far left as he can to make sure that he's not gonna make the move. As Simi makes the move on All Day for P8, I believe that is a little bit of a let through from All Day. I'm not seeing the full footage, obviously, I don't know, and Sammy just about flirting with that 1 second line, with that DRS line of Jerome Hudson. So the lapped car in the middle there, definitely making it harder for Mew to pull away, because he's now maybe gonna get DRS trained here by Spazman, which is would be incredibly funny, as Boris off the track once again and in sector 2 as Jerome not gonna get DRS, but Sammy is going to get DRS as he now into turn 1 could look for the move, doesn't look for the move, and again nipping a little bit of the outside grass there is Jerome Hudson, so that is something he does quite often there. Into turn 1, Dablo makes the move on Nick Fuhrman once more as these two keep switching positions. Sammy down the inside into turn 4, and that is move done. So once again the two switching positions here, and Mew now getting pulled away from by Spazman. So that looks scary for a little bit, as these two try to go side by side in sector 2 once more. And Nick Fuhrman right behind Dablo as well for that P5. So top 5 looking very, very solid indeed. Then there's a little bit of a gap down to Stevie, Get Valkyrie, Simi and All Day all having a mediocre race. Then it's some collisions and yeah. But it is racing sometimes to have those collisions, as Mew keeps on going for lap 11 to lap 12, and now we are going to be looking for him to pit quite soon, because the medium runners can also pit quite soon. As there's a yellow in sector 2, and that's Big Boris once more, having a little bit of problems keeping his car out on track. Swampmouth gets a 30-second time penalty for track limit warnings, as Sammy now looking for the move back on Jerome into the Interlagos. He goes out in front. And where does he come out? He comes out in front as well. It does Sammy. That was a great move from the Frenchman. And now Unleashed to go chase after Mew on those soft component tires. I believe Mew will be in at the end of this lap, as Nick Fuhrman and Dablo once again out of the Interlagos looking to go side by side. Don't go side by side in the end. And They are settling their differences peacefully right here. As Nick Sherman, a little bit of a nice blue and white helmet. I'll say that's a tribute helmet to me, because it looks like a Finnish flag, so I'll take that. Thank you, Nick. As Jerome Hudson looking for his way back up past Sammy, but Sammy's in. So Sammy is the first one to pit from medium compound tires. Is he gonna go on hards? Is he gonna go on to hard compound tires? Because I don't believe hard compound tires are the right choice right now, and he is gonna go on hards. Interesting. So maybe a little bit of a strategy blunder there from the Alpine, as Nick Fuhrman makes the same strategy blunder from P5. And I believe medium soft is the way to go here, but these guys trusting in the hard compound tires, as Jerome now closing in rapidly on Mew, and this is what the soft compound tires, they've now fallen off massively, as look at that, how much more grip Jerome has even on those 13 lap old tires, and now within that second, and now Mew needs to come into the pit lane. There's no other option for him right now. If he does stay out, he's gonna get overtaken, and if he goes into the pit, and he's gonna get undercut by Sammy as well. So he needs to go into the pit lane now, and Jerome could go for one more lap, but I think needs to also go into the pits, as there's a virtual safety car now, and that's perfect timing for both of the top two as they now head into the pit lane, and very, very careful not to get penalties there, but they now head into pit lane. Dablo heads into pit lane as well, and virtual safety cars in this game usually don't provide a great window to pit, considering that they are very, very short on this game, but right here you can see them work beautifully for them. Sammy in P5 will get overtaken now by the top two, but his big question is, will he be behind or in front of Dablo, as Boris gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane to top it all off. Dablo a lot closer to Sammy than he was before, but is out in P5 then. Right in front of Simi and right behind Get Well Carried, so sandwiched by two red cars. As we get underway with the virtual safety car. No green flags just yet as Boris retires in the pit lane. He's out of the race, and yeah, top two now with a massive advantage over Sammy. Well, Sammy has older tires and he has worse tires as well, so Sammy on those hards will now have a big job to do as we go green then. Right here on lap 14 as Jerome chasing Mew, who's now, Jerome will be on the faster compound tires for at least the first 7 laps, so Mew will need to keep within these DRS or pull away, but I don't think pulling away is an option when Jerome Hudson is this close to you. Jerome Hudson now looking for the move down the main straight as the two championship rivals go side by side here in Interlagos, and it is Jerome Hudson who makes the move for P1 and the lead of the Grand Prix, and now needs to pull away like crazy. It's hammer time now, Jerome, as he now heads out of the center S's down the Interlagos, and Mew not close enough to repass on this occasion. Just needs to stay within that 1 second of the Red Bull, but those mediums will not be feeling great for the first few laps. Sammy 4 seconds behind now. Get Well Carried is in P4 right now, but I don't think he's pitted yet, as Dablo is in P5, Simi P6, Nick Fuhrman in P7 on those hards, also losing out due to that virtual safety car. He was right behind Dablo, remember, and now he's almost 6 seconds back from the McLaren, so we now head on to lap 15, and Mew losing DRS. Is he going to be able to keep it? This is a very, very important corner for the Williams. Oh, a bit of snap. Little bit of a snap, but I think he has kept it. I think he has kept DRS just about for now. Yes, he has. And very, very important for the Williams to keep this DRS right now. Jerome Hudson 109.6 for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And Get Well Carried in the pit lane then onto the soft compound tires. Simi also in the pit lane for the soft compound tires. And should come out in P9 ahead of All Day, as Stevie Mac and Nick Fuhrman keep going. The two who collided on the formation lap now very close to each other on track, so You'll never know what could happen there, as Mew now 5/10 back from Jerome, but this middle sector is where the softs will have a big advantage over the mediums for these first few laps, and Mew excuse me. Mew needs to keep it perfect and nicely under control, as he does go through the middle sector very nicely and will keep DRS this time quite simply enough, and 7/10 to go. Not enough to make the move, but it's just enough to do what he wants to do and keep right there, right behind Jerome, who's on those softs, and those softs will die out. We saw it right before the pit lap for these two, when the softs were very, very bad, and it's going to happen again. A Swamp Mouse in the pit lane might come out right in the middle of this fight, which is not ideal, considering that blue flags will need to be waved, but he is going to be behind the two, and probably doesn't have a great pace advantage, considering he's only got a few laps softer tires, or fresher tires, sorry, as Stevie gets past Nick in the turn 1, as Nick starts regretting the hard compound tires he put on. On lap 12, as now DRS enabled for the Mercedes, no ERS for the Alpine as they head into... And there's a safety car now! What's happened there? So there is an AlphaTauri in the wall, in Sector 2, right there. And it's a peculiar place to go off. But there is a safety car right now, so... It will allow everyone to pit again. Everyone will have to pit again, and onto even fresher soft compound tires, and to go to the end with. So all bets are now open, as anyone could still come back and win this race. If we punch up under the safety car, Swamp Mouse needs to unlap himself, and has, as the top two into the pit lane for the soft compound tires. Sammy also in the pit lane, Dablo into the pit lane, Stevie, Nick, everyone's gonna come into the pit lane now. And new softs on for everybody, as the Williams pit crew gets working on Mew's car. Not quite a fast enough pit stop to get him out ahead of the Red Bull, but a good enough pit stop to get him Nick Fuhrman not going into the pit lane. I mean, like, why? Like, I get he wants track position, right? But he's gonna be P2. And he's not gonna... Whoa, guys, this is not good. And Jerome Hudson has been disqualified from the session. Wow. Wow. Just... something that happened to me in Spain of... what was it? Simcade Spain Season 10. Similar thing happened to me, but that is why you slow up before the safety car and don't keep your foot in, as the safety car just did not go. Safety car just did not start going, but that is why you slow down. But Nick, I guess, is leading the race now. It's a big hit for Jerome, who is going to lose 25 points from this Grand Prix. Possible 25 points anyway, as to bunch up under the safety car. Now everyone except for Nick up front is on new softs. Sim is still on those mediums, so he's not pitted either. So very, very interesting indeed, as the safety car leads us on to lap 19 of 25. We are going to get racing on lap 20, so we're going to have 6 laps of completely fair racing to the end of the race. Everyone on softs except me on hards. Not many penalties around the field as well, so those could be a decider for the Grand Prix. As Nick leads us away on around lap 19, and through the middle sector. We should go racing back on this lap, and we do. Completely missed the safety car in this lap warning. I was on my phone. I am a millennial after all. I'm not a millennial. I think I'm Gen Z. I might be Gen Z. I don't know. But I cannot keep my hands off my phone. Nick Fuhrman going now for the safety car restarts. Mew and Sammy right behind him. And Sammy might be looking for the move on Mew right now. Look at him going for clean air down the inside. And Dablo and Get Valkyried going side by side for a little bit there as Stevie Mac gets another 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings. And Sammy now very, very close to Mew, but not going to make the move. Mew, however, is going to make the move on Nick Fuhrman for the lead of the Grand Prix. This is a very, very important overtake for the race, and he does make it. And Nick Fuhrman now under pressure from Sammy as well, and this is Pack Racing right now. We need to be careful, guys, not to make any contact, and they haven't made any contact. That's very, very nice indeed. Nick Fuhrman already down to P3 on those hard component tires, so this could be a podium for Dablo. Another podium for Dablo, or it could be another podium for Get Valkyried. Stevie right there as well, but Stevie with 6 seconds, I believe, of track limit penalties won't be challenging for a podium. As the two leaders head on to lap 21, and DRS not enabled until lap 22, obviously, but look at how close the Alpine is, look at how close, look at how much it's gaining down the straight now. Side by side. It's France versus Poland, Alpine versus Williams into turn 1. It's Sammy down the inside and does make that move, as Dablo and Get Valkyried also get past Nick Fuhrman for that third place, as now Mew behind Sammy, not wanting to make any risks. He knows that this is his championship now to win. He just needs to be P2 in this race, and I believe he's 2 points off Joe with one more race today to go. Spazman gets another 3-second time penalty for track limits, as Dablo and Get Valkyried in turn 5, I think that is. Very, very brave to go side by side into there, but Get Valkyried now very deep. And this is going to be a great battle for the final podium places. And Nick's still in this fight, still within DRS right here on those hard component tires. Mew dropping back a little bit, 7/10 now. But DRS will get enabled on this next lap, so it just needs to be not dropped by 2/10 on this straight, and he's going to be within DRS, but no DRS just yet, which will Get Valkyried a little bit of security going down this main straight. No ERS for the Alfa Romeo, very low ERS anyway for the Alfa Romeo, but now DRS enabled as Mew and Sammy head into turn 3, looking nice and clean for both of them coming out of the center S's. As now Mew will have DRS on the Alpine, but I don't think he wants to make the move right now. I think he wants to wait a little bit longer, but Dablo does have the DRS also on Get Valkyried, doesn't make the move, not quite close enough, as Spazman and Nick going side by side into Interlagos. Little bit of contact there, little bit of a dap, but that is nice racing from the both of them to get through there without a larger contact. Simeon P7, that's most likely where he'll stay unless he can catch up to Nick Fuhrman, because he's on those old hard tires, remember, and those are going to be dropping off anytime soon, as Mew and Sammy still within the DRS of each other, and this is going to be the fight for the win. As into sector 3 they go now, looking nice out of the final corner for the both of them. Now it's a foot to the floor, and Mew's losing time at the start of the straight, because Sammy is deploying his ERS at the start of that straight, and now the Williams get DRS, and he's going to come back, but not by enough. There's no way, there's not going to be enough time on this lap, but it's lap 23 out of 25, so he still has two more opportunities there to make that move, as Get Valkyried then trying to defend from Dablo. Get Valkyried very low ERS as we mentioned before, and now Dablo with the DRS using the ERS, the McLaren around the outside into the Interlagos. The two go side by side, Alfa Romeo versus McLaren. Dablo a little bit off the track there, but not gonna make the move. Great defense from Get Valkyried as in turn 5 there's a little bit of grass caught by the McLaren, lucky not to have a spin there, and the two now into sector 2. Looking very nice for the both of them, but this podium position will be decided between the two of them. But the win will be decided between the two of them, Sammy and Mew. 8/10 again from Mew. Mew just cannot seem to keep up the pace of Sammy. Whether he's saving ERS or saving tires for the final laps, we don't know, but Mew just seems to be dropping consistently back when he's not within when he's not in DRS zones. So into turn 1 then, 4/10 the gap, and I don't think that's going to be enough into turn 4 either. It's 5/10 now, and Dablo very, very close to get Valkyried, a lot closer than what Mew was. As could he make the move into the Interlagos? Mew getting really close to Sammy, but not going to make the move on this go round. Sammy's got a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to seal, I believe it's going to be sealed a win for Mew, because now there's not even a reason to overtake, and now Mew just can chill back here in second place. He's won his first race at Canada due to track limit penalties, and I think he's going to win another one here today. 2 laps to go, 1.5 laps to go, and Mew looking like a strong contender to win this race. Dablo still fighting for P3 in this race, but not gonna have enough traction out of there, and needs to have a lot more traction going on to the final at the Grand Prix. And Mew, Nick Fuhrman, Spasm. What are we doing, lads? Nick Fuhrman trying to make the move, allowing Simi to get even closer, but Mew within 0.3 of a second now of the Alpine, and might make the move anyway. He's already going to win, but is he going to win on track? Into turn 1 they go. Sammy very, very deep there, and Mew backing out. Look at that, not even wanting to go side by side, not wanting to risk absolutely anything, as he now slingshots his way out of the center S's into turn 4, and the Williams is going to be ahead by the braking zone, and it's going to be turn 4 greatness from Mew as he gets up into first place. Sammy on the grass there a little bit, might want to get the place back. We don't know if that 3-second penalty is going to be appealed or not. Dablo not close enough to make the move, and looking for the move all of the time, looking for the move through sector 2. There's not a place here to make a move, man. No place here, as he's forced to watch the rear wing of that Alfa Romeo get further and further away, as Mew and Sammy very, very close still. Sammy looking like he wants to make the move back. Maybe he will get that 3-second overturn, but if he doesn't, Dablo's pass. How the fuck? The second I switched away, alright. But it's going to be Polish, I believe, here in Brazil. It's not gonna be French. It's going to be Poland. It's gonna be Mew. Maybe up to the line. I don't know who's got that. I think Mew's got it by 11/100ths of a second. As Nick somehow finishes P4 in the race, Simi finishes P5, as Mew wins by 11/100ths of a second. And Dablo gets a podium as it's 25 points for Mew, who is going to be leading the championship going into Zandvoort as the penultimate race of the season. Jesus Christ. Alright, the driver of the day. Myself, I'm going to vote for Nicholas. And Mew can't finish the championship right now because Joe is still 5 points behind him. So there is not a world in which Mew finishes the championship here, but he can finish it in Zandvoort. As Mew wins the race from Sammy from Dablo, from Nick Fuhrman, from Simi from Get Valkyried, Spazman, All Day Stevie, Max Swampmouth, Rafa, Big Boris, Cornish Mantis, and Jerome Hudson DSQ'd with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And yeah, not a bad race to start off the first of a double header. As we then head on to interviews, as we have Mew, Sammy, and Dablo, I believe, and then Dablo, and then Nick Fuhrman for the podium interviews. Right. Oh, I've dropped my controller on the floor. Fuck me. Where the did it go? Actually, where did it go? Hopefully it's not broken. This is the only controller I have. Anyway, we are going to be playing the national anthem of the winner of this race, and that would be Mew. Right, there is the anthem for Poland, disrupted by Simi sending me a message to play the anthem. So that's nice. Right, we are going to move down for some podium interviews, and driver of the day, who is Nicholas.
Disconnected. User entered your channel.
Hello, gentlemen. Yes, we are all men here. I don't know why I thought about it. Anyway, a chaotic, not as chaotic as last week, but still a great race around Interlagos, and we are going to be starting with our driver today, Nick Sherman. So I don't know how you've done it, lad. No fucking idea how you finished where you finished. Where did you finish? Was it P4?
P4, yeah.
Jesus
P4.
Christ, how did you do that?
Wait, how?
Exactly!
Well, you see.
You were low hard, so you were like 3 seconds a lap slower. What?
Yeah, and you managed to get. Yeah, alright. I called
Fair
you
enough.
not. I called you not peeing under the safety car. I called it a strategy. Actually, no. I called it a strategic error when you went onto the hards, and then I called it a strategic error again when you didn't pit under the safety car. And I guess I'm just wrong, because you're just the luckiest man alive. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, a P4.
Thank
and it is a very important P4 for the Constructors' Championship for Mercedes, as you guys still lead the
Yeah.
Constructors' Championship, and this weekend are missing your first driver.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but, you know.
You could you mute, please? Your keyboard is quite loud.
Ah, sorry.
Please watch the stream on that. That was fucking hilarious. Anyway.
Yeah, no, it definitely needed points, you know. It's not what I expected either, to be fair, from where I started, with the whole situation with qualifying.
Yep.
That was not what we wanted. But yeah, no, the strat was, you know, trying to undercut Dablo, but yeah, the VSC kind of spoiled that afternoon. But yeah, when the safety car came out, I thought, well, I'm already on the hards. I don't really want to pit again. So I thought, you know, I'll just keep track position.
Yep.
And it worked out well. I mean, not for the
Yeah,
first few
well.
corners, because, yeah, well, that didn't really end well. But I knew everyone else was going to go into softs. So they're just going to, you know, drop very quickly off a cliff. And they did for Spazzaman, who unfortunately had a penalty, so just had to stay behind him and, you know, sort of cruise to the end of the checkered flag. And somehow a car spun, or I don't know what happened with another car, but that led me to get 2 places at the end. So yeah, very unexpected, but very, you know, welcomed points for me anyway. Hope Joe's proud.
Yeah, I am sure he would be for a P4, although for him P4 would be a massive underperformance. But
Yeah.
Then, as we get onto the podium, there is another important points haul for a team in the Constructors' Championship. This time it's Dablo for McLaren. Once again, up here on this podium, your first podium came in Spa. Now, back on the third step of the podium, how does it feel to be back here, and did you expect it going into the race?
It feels pretty good. I honestly didn't expect it because in quali on my final lap, I just completely messed up sector one, and then going out of the final corner, I almost spun. So I was starting seventh. I wasn't expecting much, but then at turn one, people spun. I forget who. I think Valkyrie spun, and I barely avoided it. Got pretty lucky there, and then me and Nick were like constantly trading places throughout pretty much until I think the second virtual safety car where I was able to undercut him and then pull away because I was on the softs. And then the safety car came out and I got stuck behind Nick and then Get Valkyrie got a massive slipstream off of me and Nick and he just blew by me into third and I tried to keep up and I wasn't gonna pass him until the last lap where he got a massive snap coming out of, I don't know, like third to fourth to last corner. And I was able to go under him. And then going out the penultimate corner, he spun. And yeah, I got the podium.
Yeah. Very, very well done for that podium for yourself. And for McLaren, as we move up the podium to P2 by 11/1000ths of a second. Sammy Jotes. That must be a little bit heartbreaking for you.
Yeah, a little bit. First of all, a huge congratulations to my man Mew. He had a very good pace, very fun to race against him. Very unfortunate for Jerome. We were having so much fun. I think you saw it on the stream. It was very fun to battle with him. But yeah, huge battle at the end. Unfortunately, I think it's 11 milliseconds, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got that 3-second penalty on the second warning, so it was a bit weird. But I was focusing on the fight with Mew, it was very funny. So yeah, a huge congratulations to him.
Yeah, very, very well driven by yourself as well, pole position. And not going to be racing the double header, not in Zandvoort. Why so?
Nope. Unfortunately, yeah, family is coming over, and then they are leaving tomorrow. So yeah, family time tonight. It's 8:15 in France right now. So yeah, dinner time.
Yeah.
I will let Mew and Jerome fight on their own.
But yeah, congratulations on a podium and on your first pole position here in FQ Racing League.
Thank you, man.
As we head on to the top step of the podium now, championship leader and could close the championship already in Zandvoort as Mew.
Hello.
Let's go!
Winning the race
Yeah.
in very close fashion by 11 milliseconds. So
Yeah.
must
Yeah,
have-
I knew he's gonna feel it. He was scrapping with Savi so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, with Jerome, they were like, they gave me an easy overcut on softs. Like I went like 3 laps over the strategy, just because they just kept being away from my DRS,
yeah.
and then I had a lucky VSC.
Yeah, talking about that, I knew the strategy for once about that you went over the actual time you were supposed to be out there, but you were really struggling on that last lap 13, before you pitted. It was quite obvious that you were losing a lot of time to Jerome. Was it just that Jerome was catching that you decided to pit, or was it just the softs were done?
No, I knew I was gonna pit there. I just took it kind of easy on the outlap. I already had like a huge margin considering how long the mediums would last, so
Yeah.
I wasn't like too worried about him catching me.
Yeah, and then obviously safety car happened. Disqualification, not what we want to see at all, obviously, but helps you to
It
championship.
reminds me of a certain incident.
No,
Was it,
yeah, reminds me. Yeah, reminds me too. No, yeah,
I bet you felt that, like.
yeah, still burnt into the back of my head.
I
That
wanna
one.
say a really fun fact. I probably would have gotten pole if I didn't just smash into the pit wall and exit.
Yeah, no, that I actually have information on that. I mentioned it during qualifying.
It was kind of fun.
It was relayed to me in the chat, but anyway, P2 starting on softs, going for an alternate strategy compared to everyone else. Paid off today with a few safety cars, VSC, and yeah, congratulations on taking.
Honestly, I went onto softs purely because I didn't want to cross wheels with Jerome, and I just wanted to have an incident-free race ahead. So I just went opposite to him, and it kind of worked out. They scrapped, which was exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on this win, and you could close the championship in about 45 minutes. As,
Yeah, I'm gonna cool down my wheel now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't explode.
Hopefully you can do that. But that is going to be it for this stream, as we will join you again in about 40 minutes for the penultimate round of Zandvoort and of F123 Championship. Mew leads the championship by 20 points from Jerome, and only needs, no, not by 20 points, by 5 points from Jerome. Needs to score 20 or more to seal the championship if Jerome Hudson doesn't score any points. As 2 races are left, you do not want to miss all the action here in FQ. From Joe, what did I say? Did I say from Jerome? I meant from Joe. Well, you've ruined my epic monologue now. Screw you. Anyway. I'm joking. Yeah, guess we're gonna end the stream now. I'm gonna be back. You're gonna hear from my beautiful voice again. Soonish. Soon enough. And yeah. Hope you had a good time. Thank you for watching, and bye.
Sound muted. Sound resumed.